so bad. That shit crazy. On a Friday night, it's all leaving with your boy Barry Grant. Episode 202 is upon us. We are here. We are live. Silent Assassin is not feeling well. She's under the weather. So shouts to the Silent Assassin. You see exactly what's gonna go on. Lots to cover, man. I mean, Nick Pacer game just finished. That was a pretty exciting game. Kind of went exactly the way I thought it would go, because this series is not over, no matter what people tell you. Knicks won their home court, defended their home court, and the Pacers did that tonight. So we'll see exactly what happens going forward into the series. The rules in regards to seeing me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at All Even Podcast. I'm actually on Facebook too. Podbean, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. So we're just definitely just gonna jump right into this shit. Also want to talk about the Draymond Green comments. Timberwolves being really good. Jokic winning his third MVP. Shannon Sharpe, Shaquille O'Neal beef. What the hell is that all about? The Suns making a coaching hire and giving him a lot of money that I don't think he deserved. Hornets hired Charles Lee, which is a good fit. Have a little diatribe. I want to talk about James Harden, who the Lakers should go after as their next head coach, what they should be looking for, what they should not be looking for, what they should kind of stay away from, what they kind of need to fix. My irrelevant news of the week. And then the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
So let's just get right into this Knicks game. I think Al is in here. So let's cam him up. Sir.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Listen, we're doing a live show, so camera.
Yeah, I got a lot of emotions right now. I got to wipe my tears.
I don't care about none of that stuff.
You already know.
You text me and call me talking about you had an outfit planned out. Don't cam up or I'm going to take you off this live. I'll do the show myself. You over here talking about you don't want no camera. This what's wrong with y'all Knicks fans. Y'all way too emotional for just one playoff game. Y'all won 2 games. Y'all lost 1. Get over it.
Man, we sitting here, we fight injuries. First of all, I'm not gonna allow you to sit there and talk about us Knicks fans like that, because right now we outside. The city on fire right now.
Yeah, it's about to burn down soon once the Pacers come back in the series.
I don't even understand why you're talking like that, man. I don't even understand why you're talking like that.
Like I said, if you ain't cammed up in about 30 seconds. So yeah, let's
I'm here, baby.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm here, baby.
So shouts to Al. You haven't been here in a while.
Nah, it's been a little bit of a while. I've been paying attention to everything going on, but I've had a bunch of stuff going on right now in my life. I've been had a lot of things keeping me busy. The kids have been keeping me busy. New career has been keeping me busy. But I'm back. I'm here, and I'm ready to. I'll be taking abuse from you, but I still keep you as a friend. You in my heart.
I mean? I do not abuse you. I do not, because listen, this whole season you have been very quiet in regards to your Knicks fandom. You ain't said nothing to me. You've been very, because you know what it is with you Knicks fans. Y'all will wait for the opportune time to go crazy, right? You want to make sure that it's real first before you start acting wild. Listen. I got Knicks fans. I had somebody hit me up today. Who was like, "Oh, I'm watching the Knicks game with my dad." I said, "Do you watch the Knicks?" No. What are you watching them for now? Don't be one of those bandwagon people. I don't like them. I don't like that.
Nah, and I don't like those bandwagon people either. You got if you're gonna suffer, you got to suffer.
That's all I'm saying. If you're gonna rock with them bum ass Knicks, rock with them. You know what I mean?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right, so look, let's get into the game, man. 111-106. Pacers win the game at home. Listen, it was a good game, man. But
it was a really good game. It went down to the wire. I think we were tied up at what, 109, 109?
Yeah, you guys had you had a 24-8 run to end the third quarter to get back in the game, have the lead go into the fourth. But here was my issue with the Knicks, even prior going into this game, is that injuries, attrition will start to kick in. You know, when you got Josh Hart playing 12 straight quarters, that is a concern. When you're when you're relying so heavily on your starters, that is a concern. Because if those guys run out of gas at some point in the series, you got nothing left. And OG Anunoby, he's hurt. You got Jalen Brunson, who's battling through whatever he had in regards to game two.
And you saw it affect him in the game too, if you were watching.
If those guys are hampered going forward, and we already heard the report that OG is not going to be available possibly for game 4. So this is a concern. So as a Knicks fan, I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about game 3, how that went down, and what are your concerns going forward?
Well, I think as with in the playoffs right now, as with throughout the entire season with the Knicks, our core has been what's fueling us, is what sits there and got us to where we're at right now. Like we haven't been a deep team this entire season.
True.
Yeah. So right now, like you said, towards like once you get into the playoffs, once you get into more physical basketball, you have a situation now where you're gonna have people who are getting more injured, people who need rest. My pipes need rest, but Brunson can't. Brunson, Hart, OG, like you can't sit there and rely on these players to sit there and just play the entire game for you every single game. Like they're gonna burn out, and people are playing at a different type of level. They're playing with a different type of physicality right now. So you saw what the injuries did to Brunson today. Even though he gutted through it, he started. I was hoping that we would have been able to go up 3-0, maybe give us an opportunity to give people a little bit more rest in the fourth game. But right now, like with what happened tonight, like we got to continue going with the way we've been going, and it's rough. Like I think Brunson is the heart of our team, but I think the most important player right now is Hart, and he's been the most important player through the past 2 series.
Well, yeah, I mean that's definitely true, but you know at some point consistency, or he's gonna not play as well, and if he's not playing as well, and he's your literally third guy or second guy right now, I mean, it's a concern for me. I said today on TikTok, I said, look, you got 2 games in Indiana right now. You got to get one. They don't need the sweep. Sweeping would be ideal because you can be able to get guys rest, right? But they got to get one, because if they get one, now that puts them in the driver's seat to be able to close the series out, right? So you don't want this series to go 7. Because if this series goes 7 and these guys have to continue to play through injuries, by the time you get to Dallas, by the time you get to Boston or Cleveland, you have nothing left. This team is going to be a shell of itself in the Eastern Conference Finals, and we all know what will happen at that point. So, you know, they really have to try and focus. I know OG's out. I know Jalen is banged up, but they got to find a way to be able to win game 4 so they can be able to kind of take the pressure off of themselves a bit. Listen, Indiana, the crowd was hyped tonight. The crowd was behind them. They were hitting shots. They were hitting shots late. You can't really be too mad about this game. You know, you defended home court. They came home. They started hitting shots, and you saw the factor of being home and having that energy, especially with a young team that plays so fast and so hard. So, you know, I don't really fault the Knicks for losing a game like this.
No, I don't fault the Knicks either. I mean, I said from the top of the series, Knicks in 6, but and Indiana is not Philadelphia. Indiana's been one of those. It's been probably the top running gun team. Like I don't follow basketball as much as you do, but they've been the top running gun team and the top offensive team,
right, as
far as scoring this entire season. But if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, their defense hasn't been a match up to their offense, has it?
No, they're not. They're not a great defensive team. They do have spots where they're pretty good in regards to rim protection with Miles Turner and guys like that. But overall, they're not a great defensive team. No. So, if the Knicks can be able to get into their sets, which they don't run too many of those most times, but the sets that they do run, they can be able to get into their sets without a problem. It's just about making shots for the Knicks at this point and keeping up with the pace, because Pacers don't really care if you score. They're taking the ball out of the basket and they're running to the other end as fast
exactly.
as
And the ball movement with the pace that I'm watching with the Pacers is ridiculous. It's great.
Yeah.
But the Knicks need to look. Great thing about the Knicks, our second half adjustment is probably our strength. Like if you've been I've been paying attention throughout the entire playoff series, like our third quarters have been what's been getting us through a lot of these games and what's been really fueling us. If we could sit there and bring some of that energy into the second quarter, into the first half of the game, I think things will be a lot easier for us. But like you said, death, injuries, and keeping up pace. And that's really what we got to worry about going into game 4. But we have to win game 4 in Indiana. We can't come back to New York City without a win over there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think game 4 is a must win for the Knicks because, momentum is everything in the series. And you have one team that's healthy. You got another team that's limping through the series. So you got to try to figure out a way to be able to get that game, man, because if you don't, it's going to get dicey. Now, let's go ahead and switch gears. Not really switch gears, but kind of move the topic along. Draymond Green said some interesting things about Knicks and the Knicks fans and said that, the Knicks
doesn't matter.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
He doesn't matter. He doesn't. He's in Cancun right now.
You guys on a fluke run. So, what are your thoughts? I want to hear some real thoughts about this. Like, what do you think he means by that? And, obviously he got to put on his media hat. So, thoughts?
This is the first that I've heard of what Mr. Green has had to say about my New York Knicks. He has absolutely nothing to say right now because he's at home. His magical run as the 4th member of that team or whatever it is, a great team, but they're done. They're finished. He's mad. He needs to transition into his media personality thing, but he needs to stay the fuck away from the Knicks right now because he has absolutely nothing that he can say because we're doing everything that he wish he could be doing right now. He wishes he was playing basketball, but he's not playing basketball right now. What he's doing right now is he's running a pretty successful podcast. He's doing a lot of successful things in media right now, but he's not playing basketball. Right. And that's what the Knicks are doing. That's what the New York Knickerbockers are doing. We're playing playoff basketball. When he's playing playoff basketball, he can have an opinion on what my Knicks are doing. I care not what that man has to say. He's a WWE wrestler. He is not a basketball player. He hasn't been one for 2-3 years now.
Listen, I understand that. From a Knicks standpoint, as you're a fan, I get the vitriol. But listen, you got to look at him right now as somebody who just has a podcast and who's in the media, right? He's going to have his opinion. He's going to be talking about what teams are hot and what teams have a shot and stuff like that. But here's my thing about really what he said is that I'm kind of siding with you. Is like, all right, even if the Knicks are on this fluky run, don't we see this in sports all the time? We see this in the NCAA tournament where guys go on a Cinderella run. You don't talk about fluky runs there. You see other teams that were 8th seeds or 7th seeds or wild card teams in other sports get to a Super Bowl or get to a World Series or get to an NBA final, whatever it is, get to a World Series. But this is kind of like the first time I've heard fluky run, right? Yeah. Like the Lakers were a play-in team that got to the Western Conference Finals last year.
That wasn't a fluke. That was hard work.
I never heard fluky run with them. So it's like this is a number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. It's not like the Knicks are an 8th seed. It's not like they were a 10th seed and got into the play-in, whatever. This is a 2 seed that played really good basketball throughout the whole season. So it's like for him to say that this is a fluky run, you really haven't been watching this team. They're a very gritty team. They don't have a lot of depth, as you said, but the guys that they have put up a lot of points. Jalen Brunson damn near averaged 30 points this year. OG Anunoby was a great addition. He ended up, changing life for the Knicks when he came. Randall going down really put things in perspective for the Knicks to make them kind of play a little differently, right? Mm-hmm. So this and Dante DiVincenzo stepped his game up 1,000% after that. After Randall went down, he
I
kind of
love that little white Mike right there.
He kind of took the reins and was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy that we need to be a stable team going forward." So it's like, for me to hear him say fluky run, nah, I don't think it's a fluky run at all. I mean, we've seen Dallas a couple of years ago get to the Western Conference Finals and get smoked. We've seen Portland Trailblazers go against the Golden State Warriors a few years back in their run, and they got smoked. Like, it's not about fluky run. It's about matchups. It's about luck. It's about good playing. It's about timely shots. There's a whole bunch of things that go into a playoff run. So I wouldn't say fluky, because if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they go against the Cavs or the Celtics, I give the Knicks a fighting chance if they're healthy.
The Knicks have a really good chance if they're healthy. And then my next thing to say about the whole fluke thing is, he's acting like this isn't a team that hasn't been ascending for the past couple of years. Like, I mean, if we were trash last year and we weren't a playoff team last year and we just automatically popped up out of nowhere and we're just doing this, maybe I get it. And maybe I'll be able to sit there and say, my fandom is stopping me from being able to really appreciate what he has to say, but he's completely incorrect. We're a team that consistently, year by year, for the past few years now, have been getting better, doing what we need to do to build our team, acquire the players that we need, and acquire the pieces that we need. Like this is the first time in a long time the Knicks have had a consistent run of building their team the way that they're supposed to be building their team. Like, we haven't had this since the 90s. Kiss my black ass, Draymond Green. Like really.
I ain't gonna lie. Here's my last point on that, and then we move on. Even if we're gonna say it's a fluky run, right? Who cares? Like, yo, let Knicks fans just be happy for once. They like I said, over the last 20 years, decade plus, they've been rubbish. Let the Knicks fans be outside. Let them enjoy themselves. Let them go to bars and hang out and be out in the streets and be happy that the Knicks are playing basketball, playoff time. I ain't got no problem with that. Like, I'm not a Knicks fan. I got a lot of friends that are Knicks fans. I don't like y'all most of the time, but I'm not giving y'all any flack right now, because this is y'all time to be happy. Ride the wave. I
appreciate it. You're like,
who cares?
It's like 94 all over again. The Knicks are good. The Rangers are good. We got world-class rap beef going on.
I don't care about no damn Rangers. You gotta relax. I'm an Islanders fan. I don't want to hear nothing about the Rangers, but they playing good.
Look, I just started getting into hockey. You know what I mean? Like my hockey friends, I won't say what persuasion they are, but my hockey friends have sat there and pushed me towards the Rangers. And I came in at a good time. We're looking good. And, Knicks, Rangers. I'm loving it right now, man. I'm loving it.
Bandwagon ass nigga, I tell you.
Look, I'm not a bandwagon ass nigga, because I happily admit I know nothing about hockey.
You get a pass. pass.
Like, if you want to convince me to the Islanders, then you can make your case. But these Rangers fans right now, like,
hold on. Here's my thing. If you talk about suffering, you gotta be an Islanders fan. You can't be no Rangers fan. You can't be no Rangers.
I'm a Knicks fan. I'm a Mets fan. I'm an Eagles fan. Like don't bring more pain to me.
And the Islanders have those Knicks colors and the Met colors, so you gotta come this side. That's what I'm saying.
I haven't made my mind up yet, but I'll tell you this: I'm enjoying New York hockey. Okay, I'll say that.
Respect. So that's all I'm saying. Let the Knicks fans be who they want to be right now. I don't care how ignorant they are. They're happy. Let them be happy, because you don't know when the run is going to be over. The run can be over in a couple of games. The run can be over in the Eastern Conference. Who cares? That's my thing. With a fan base, let them just be them. I like to see what's going on with the Knicks right now, because listen, the city's vibing right now. City's hot. So let them go.
The city's hot right now, yeah.
Let them go, man. Let them go. Moving on. The Wolves. They're playing right now against the Denver Nuggets, and the Wolves have been a dominant team all postseason. They haven't lost a game yet. Defensively, they're the best team in the NBA. They're the best team left. They have arguably one of the new faces of the NBA, Anthony Edwards. They got Jaden McDaniels, who's one of the best defenders in the league. You got Rudy Gobert, who's the defensive player of the year. You have Nas Reed. Huh?
Fourth time, right?
Yeah, fourth time. You have Nas Reed, who's the sixth man of the year. There's a lot of things going on for the Wolves right now. Jokic winning his third MVP in 4 years, that's a storyline. But what I see and what I want to talk about is how the T-Wolves are exposing Denver for what I saw against the Lakers, even this year and last season, is that I think that Denver, as good as they are, there are holes in that team. There are holes defensively that they have. Jokic is not a great defender. Murray's not a great defender. What I saw against the Lakers in both series is that they hit timely shots. What I saw against them against Miami in the finals, they hit timely shots. Miami was not on their same level. Now you got a team that's as big as them, if not bigger. Defensively, they're long. And there's a lot of things that they do well. And you're seeing a team that's kind of struggling to make shots. So I've said this for 2 years now, is that this is a team, as good as they are, they got the best player on the planet, respect. But you can be able to get to them if you have a guy that can be able to physically stay with Jokic and kind of bang him around a bit. Pause, right? What are you seeing in this series that makes you think that the Wolves are just a better team?
I think the Wolves are exactly what they've been built up to be. And I was thinking about it the other day. They're actually ahead of schedule. Like, yeah, I remember they're ahead of schedule right now, and I think Ant-Man's ascension, and I think he's developed a lot faster than we expected him to develop. And what I think really happens is that GM built that team to be able to take on teams like the Nuggets. And I think they're doing it a lot. And I think it's happening a lot faster than we thought it was going to happen. And I think in hindsight right now, looking back at the moves that they made, because we blasted them. Like, I still think they paid too much for Rudy.
Of course they did.
But looking at the results that they've had, he was expensive, but they're getting what they paid for. So with that being the case and them being successful, in hindsight, it was a good trade, even if it was an expensive one.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta take risks, right? And what they did was they knew what type of team they wanted to build. They understood what direction they wanted to go into, and they, the big team is back in the NBA. Like, that small ball shit that Golden State was doing for years, but that is no longer a thing anymore. You need size on the inside to be able to compete in the NBA now. These small teams are not, they're still around, but they're not as dominant as they used to be.
Really what I see happening right now is positionless basketball, except now you have players who are a lot bigger than, like you said, teams like Golden State were. Yeah. Like, you're not going to get away with 6'1", 6'2", 6'3" players when you have these 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 7-foot monsters that can sit there, play from the perimeter, play the interior. They can guard. They can guard. They can, like, you have 7-foot point guards. Like, it's like what you have right now is really a bunch of players following the Kevin Durant archetype, except now they're bigger than him. They're stronger than him.
Facts. Denver's up big right now. Denver's up 34-23 right now. They're hitting a lot of shots. I remember a couple of days ago, I said that although Minnesota looks good, although they took 2 in Denver, I don't think this series was over. I just had a feeling you can't count the champs out. There's no way you can be able to count the champs out. Like, although they've been struggling and Jokic looks like dog shit in this series so far, like, they're still the champs, right? There's certain holes that this team has, but they have Jokic, which is the best player in the world. And if Murray can be able to hit some shots, because he's been bad the series so far, if he can start hitting some shots, this series turns on his head real quickly. So, I had picked Denver in 6. Obviously, that doesn't look like the case right now, but I think that Denver can still probably pull it out in 7. Call me crazy, but I can see that happening.
You're crazy. Denver's not winning this.
I'm crazy?
Yeah, you're crazy.
Okay.
Denver's gonna put up a fight. Like they're not getting swept. They're not gonna win one game. But you're crazy. You're cray.
Okay, so you got Minnesota in 6?
I got Minnesota in 6. Like, you see Ant-Man playing right now?
Come on, man. I gotta relax, man.
Nah.
I hope you're not one of them people that's the Michael Jordan. He looks like Jordan. Don't do that. Don't do that. You see, I can't, man. I can't with y'all. Y'all gotta
What
stop.
I will say is this.
Y'all gotta stop.
What I will say is this. He himself came out and said you got to relax on comparing him to Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I think you do have to relax on comparing him to Michael Jordan. But if you take a look at his numbers, you take a look.
His numbers ain't nowhere near Jordan. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it.
What's his numbers right now?
What do you average? Like
what's his numbers right now?
He averaged like 25 a game. 25, 5 and 5. We told you that's for the
5 and 5, but
playoffs. In the playoffs,
look at him. Look at him like he's what you want. Like he's the definition of a player right now. Like he's in these guys' faces. He's talking that shit. He's doing what he got.
Well, Al is having some connection issues. We'll get him back in here as soon as he fixes that. But look, listen, I respect Anthony Edwards. I think he's a great player. I think he's a dude that can be able to be the new face of the NBA. He can be one of those guys because he's marketable, great personality, got the game to back it up. So I'm not hating against the dude. I just don't like the whole look. Hey, Michael Jordan, like, yo, put your VHS tapes away. Take your TV off for the Last Dance. Just relax. Let the kid be him. You know what I'm saying? Let him be able to carve out his own niche and his own career and see exactly where the hell it goes. I'm tired of y'all Jordan people, man. Y'all need to just go somewhere. Just go somewhere and just go watch old tapes. That's all right. That's fine. Hey, he was doing some charity work in North Carolina today, I believe. Go ahead and go watch the video on that and feel good about yourselves. But stop talking about these players like they Jordan. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I don't compare nobody to Braun. I don't compare nobody to nobody. Let them be them. Tired of it, man. Hey, Michael Jordan. Stop. Stop. Put your Jordan jerseys away. Okay? It's all right. It's all right to just let somebody be them. Damn it. Let's see if Al fixed his Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi was looking crazy out there.
I'm back.
You fix your Wi-Fi?
Yeah. I don't know what was going on. You know what I mean? But yeah, technical difficulty. You know, I don't got the All Even podcast studio where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like we sitting here, we doing things a little bit not as good as you. You know?
Listen, man, you still got a little lag, but we'll deal with it. We'll work through it. Thoughts on Jokic winning his third MVP in 4 years? Do you think that it was justified? Do you think that it was do you think that Shea should have probably won it? Like, what are your thoughts on Jokic?
Like, of course, Jokic should have won it. Like, okay. if they didn't give it to him, it would have literally been gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Like that would have been the only reason that he didn't get it. Like there's no player in the league right now more important and more impactful to their team. Period. Nobody.
So you don't think that Shea should have won it?
No. No, under no circumstances. I don't even understand what we're talking about. That's a simple answer.
I disagree.
Like that, look. Like that man, he sneezes 32.
I get it. But Shea was that guy too. Don't do that. Don't listen. Look, I'm one of those people that just because you won a couple of MVPs don't mean you gotta get another one. All right? Give it to somebody else, man. The OKC was the #1 seed in basketball. #1 seed in the Western Conference, right? Not basketball, but Boston. But in the Western Conference, they were the #1 seed. Come on now. Come on. And that's the tougher.
Take Joker away from that team. What do you have going on?
Take Shea away from that team. What they do?
Okay. Removing Shea from OKC or removing Jokic from Denver, who has more impact?
Denver's still a playoff team without Jokic. They're still a playoff team. OKC is not.
Okay.
They got a whole bunch of kids and bums over there, and Shea was over there working, juking. And they give it to Jokic. I don't like that. I like Jokic too. Don't get me wrong, but I don't like that. Give Shea the MVP. Give it to him.
Your whole explanation is exactly what I just said. Give it to somebody else. Let somebody else have it. It's gatekeeping. It's literally not giving it to the best player in the NBA because you don't think he should have it 4 times.
Hold on. Braun only got four MVPs. How much? Braun should have had about 9 already. If you talking about the best player in the league, Braun's the best player.
Braun should have had 5.
For a decade plus.
He should have had 5. He was robbed once.
He was robbed several times. Don't start this.
He was robbed once. He
was robbed that year that the Lakers was the number 1 seed in the Western Conference in the bubble.
Absolutely. Come on, get out of here.
That was his MVP. That was his MVP.
No, you're a fan. You're a fan talking.
They gave it to who they give it to? Bum ass Giannis. They gave it to him.
Giannis deserved it.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. LeBron was robbed once.
LeBron was robbed several times on MVP. He
was robbed once. Like when he was in Miami, that year, who won it that year that he was supposed to get it?
He won back-to-back years in Miami.
Then oh man. There's one, like, I don't remember exactly which one it is, but there's one prime. I think it's either while he's in Miami or coming out of Miami when he went back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Where he should have won that MVP. I don't remember who they gave it to because, like I said, I don't follow it as much as I should. But he's been robbed once.
Listen, they stopped giving Braun the MVP because they was over here talking about, oh, well, he's on a good team. He's on a super team. Yo, shut up. I don't like the way when they change the rules every year and give people MVP. I remember they gave Giannis an MVP all because they wanted to make him the first player since Hakeem Olajuwon to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. I don't like it. I don't like that. Don't be making up stories. Just give it to the dude that's nice. And Shea was nice.
So then, by your explanation, Jokic should have had it this year.
You see, we got a comment right there. Carving it up with Bryson Carver. He said it. D Rose got it in 2011. KD got it in 2014. Braun could have won either one of those years. So we talking about 6 MVPs there. That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. This is the nonsense that we talking about here. Jokic winning 3 out of 4. I'm not even hating on Jokic. I'm not. Respect to Jokic. He's great. I think he's the best player in the league. I do. But come on now. Shea did better this year. He led the Oklahoma City.
I think he's the best player in the league.
Number 1 team in the Western Conference. I don't care what nothing else happens. The number 1 team in the hardest conference in basketball, and you don't give it to him? Come on now.
You think he's the best player in the league playing in the harder conference, but he shouldn't have gotten it.
He's the best player on the best team in the conference. Normally,
so you're gonna downgrade him because he's on a better team?
Normally, that's how the MVP works, Al. That's what the NBA has told us over the years. The best player on the best team wins the MVP. It's not the best player in the league that wins the MVP. That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. So, like I said, I would love for the NBA to put out like a description or explanation as to why people win MVPs every year, because they like to change the shit every year. Every year is a different reason. Jokic put up the same damn numbers he put up last year, right?
They were phenomenal.
Same damn numbers he put up last year.
Phenomenal numbers. Phenomenal numbers.
Right. So why he didn't win 4 straight then?
Because of gatekeeping. Literally, the whole argument was he can't win 3 in a row.
That don't make sense. Don't make sense.
He can't win 3 in a row. That was the whole argument against him.
I don't like it. I don't like what they do. When you got a young dude that's out here putting up buckets and they don't want to give it to him. I don't like it. Al, you let me know when your Wi-Fi is good. Give me the thumbs up because you keep going in and out. Let's see. Moving on. And I want you to get back in here, but make sure you fix that. Come out and come back in and see what happens. Pause. Oh my God, that was crazy.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Yeah. Leave the stream and come back into the stream and see what happens. But yeah, so what is going on with Shannon Sharpe and Shaquille O'Neal? Somebody need to explain it to me, because I saw the clip of Shannon Sharpe and Osho on Nightcap, where he was talking about, yeah, that shit was foul. I ain't gonna lie to you. Wow, sus. But I cleaned it up.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
I cleaned it up. No diddy. Yeah, so I seen the clip on Nightcap where Shannon was talking about how Shaq is envious of Jokic, and that's the reason why he didn't want him to win MVP. And the fact that Jokic was a better player, Jokic is being recognized as one of the best players in the league, and one of the GOATs, and he's never been recognized in that situation, all because he never worked hard, he never did this, blah, blah. Like, he was always known as the most dominant player in the game, but never like a Mount Rushmore great. And it's like, all right, Shannon, I understand where you were going with it, highlighting that, yes, Shaq could have definitely worked a little harder in his career. But I don't necessarily think that there's jealousy. I just think that Shaq was being honest with Jokic and said, yo, I think Shea was the MVP. Just the reason why me and Al just talked about it just now is that Shea led Oklahoma City to the #1 seed in the Western Conference. Listen to what we're talking about. The Oklahoma City in the Western Conference. So you got to remember that this ain't no easy feat. And this is why I believe that he deserved it. So I don't necessarily believe that Shaq is jealous of Jokic. What do you got to be jealous of Jokic for? He's been waiting for a big man to be able to be the face of the league. Yeah, Shaq only won 1 MVP, but so what? It don't matter. We still got Shaq as a top 10 player all time. So for Shaq then to respond and was like, yo, such and such, you would top 51 play out of 100, which is pretty good in the NFL, I will say. And then they put out a diss record like, yo, Shaq, you got to relax. But if we just talking about the facts, like, yo, Shaq was right about Shea. Shannon, I understand what he's saying, but Shannon got to stop with this jealousy nonsense, because I don't think that there is no jealousy in regards to Shaq. Shaq used to call out Dwight Howard. Shaq calls out Embiid. Shaq is the godfather of the bigs. So if he's going to be critical of a guy, he's going to keep it real. Why not let him keep it real? There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily believe that was necessary for Shannon to say. I get what he was saying, but he kind of took it a little too far. Al, what are your thoughts on the whole Shaquille O'Neal, Shannon Sharpe situation? And do you think that Shannon was right for what he said? Do you think that Shaq was right for how he responded? Shaq's a character. Thoughts on that?
From what I understand, what Shannon said was Shaquille O'Neal, great player. By Shaquille O'Neal's admission, if he worked harder, if he invested more into his body, he invested more into practicing, he invested more into his craft, he would have been respected more, and we would have gotten a lot more out of him. I don't disagree with Shannon. I don't even necessarily think I heard Shannon say that he was jealous. The only thing that I think that he said was Shaquille O'Neal probably feels that he should have had more MVPs, which I feel Shaquille O'Neal should have had. Shaquille O'Neal feels that he should be mentioned more in the GOAT conversation. I agree with Shaquille O'Neal on that. If that's what he's saying, he should be mentioned more in the GOAT conversation. But what Shannon said about him ain't wrong.
Yeah, it ain't wrong. But in regards to him saying that he might feel a little envious, like, why should he? I mean, you got to think about the time that Shaq played in. Like, Shaq was the most dominant player in the league, right? But we gotta understand that, you know, he played in an era with Jordan. He played in an era with other greats, and Jordan kind of held everybody back. I think if Jordan wasn't around, maybe Shaq gets another 2 or 3 MVPs. Who the hell knows? There's plenty of times where Shaq should have definitely won some MVPs, right? We don't know why. We don't understand why the league didn't really look at him as he needs to be the guy. We have no idea. There were years that Shaq put up monumental numbers, right? And never went higher than like 3rd or whatever it was in the MVP race. So there was nothing that he didn't do. It wasn't like if he slimmed down 15 more pounds, his numbers would have been much better. His numbers would have probably been the same. But
you don't think if Shaq put more effort into taking care of his body and put more effort into his craft, he wouldn't have been better than what he was?
But Al, what I'm saying is that the numbers that the man put up are MVP numbers. If the league doesn't look at him as an MVP, he did all he could. He did all he could. That's all I'm saying. Is that even when people say he didn't work as hard, the man is the top 7 player of all time. He should have more MVPs because of that. Kobe is a top 10 player of all time. He only has 1. So when you talk about 2 guys that were literally on the same team for many years and they only have 2 MVPs to speak for it, that says more about the league than it says about them.
You said part of what I was about to say right then and there. 2 players that were on those teams. One thing about Shaq is, and I think it's unfair, but what you really have to, and Kobe, if you really want to bring him into the conversation too, like they were always in a Batman and Robin situation. Whether Shaq was Batman or whether Shaq was Robin is really up to you to say, you know, and for the 3 teams that he was really successful with. But he was always in a Batman and Robin situation. It was always a 1-2 punch with him and another great player.
Right.
So you're never going to really see the individual impact like you will see from like a Joker, where the separation of talent on the team is so great, where it's undeniable that one player is the person that's really driving that force. Because he had Kobe, he had Wade, he had Penny, right?
Right.
So all of those are all top players, like all-time players.
But I see, the thing is, I don't necessarily agree with that take, because even if you're gonna say Penny, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we say that Scottie Pippen was better than Penny?
Yes. You could say that. I mean, you could say that, but you could argue that too.
There's no argument. Scottie is a top 50 all-time player. Penny is not. He's not. In the short years that Penny was in the league and doing his thing, Pippen had he had seasons just like that and was a two-way player. So when you talk about a guy that was a sidekick to one of the best players in the league, it didn't stop Jordan from winning MVPs. So how does that stop Shaq from winning MVPs? The only reason why it did is because Shaq was like Wilt Chamberlain. He was bigger and stronger and more powerful than everybody else. And the league looked at it like, well, he's supposed to do that. So what? So you're literally penalizing a guy for being who he is. That's dumb.
Yeah, so and I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment.
It's that over time the league has made their own rules in regards to what an MVP is. This is all I'm saying. So it's like when we look at the MVP trophies, when we look at MVP awards, they really don't hold too much weight to me because of who's voting for these motherfucking awards. It don't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying?
I think the NBA tries to drive narrative with these awards that they give out to. So I 100% agree with you. They don't hold as much weight because it's not necessarily given to the person who deserves it. There are a lot of years where, we can't give it to him because of this. We shouldn't give it to this player because of that.
Right.
And Shaq fell victim to that, but it still doesn't negate what Shannon Sharpe said. And I still don't think that Shannon Sharpe came for his head like that. Like Shay been suffering ever since Amanda Seales left his podcast.
Well, listen, I'm gonna say this, and Bryson said it best. He said Shannon isn't wrong, but I struggled to see how he drew the SGA take to Shaq being jealous of Joker. Man is one of the top 10 greatest players in history. That's what I'm saying is that, okay, cool. If you disagree with Shaq saying that Joker wasn't the MVP, that's fine. But for you to now try to correlate a point that he's envious of Joker because Joker has 3 MVPs to his 1, I can't see how that makes sense. I really, really don't. Because as great as Joker is, I'm not putting Joker over Shaq all time.
No, I never would. I never would.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like Joker may finish with 5 MVPs or whatever, right? But when we think about the impact that Shaq had on the NBA, Joker is not going to have that type of impact. He's just not. So Shaq left his imprint on the league. Shaq left his imprint on the league. It's not his fault that the league looked at him as this big ogre that didn't need to get fouled, that couldn't get to the free throw line because people, you know what I'm saying? They just like, well, you're supposed to finish that. No, a foul is a foul. Let me get to the line, right?
But then bring the fouls into it.
Than everybody, I'm supposed to just eat shit like that. That's corny to me, and that's why I believe that his 1 MVP is more of an indictment on the voters in the NBA than it actually is on his work ethic as an NBA player. He was a great player. He was a great player.
I'll show you this. I'll show you a piece about his work ethic. What was the one thing that Shaq was never good at?
Free throws.
A pure liability. What did the league figure out at some point with Shaq?
I mean, you have to foul him.
Foul him. Put Shaq on the line. It neutralizes him.
Okay.
He became so at a certain point, and at a certain point in the game, he became a liability to his team. How are you winning the MVP that many times when you're not working to get that better?
You want me to put your argument to shame right here?
I mean, you can. Look, you're the basketball guy. I'm not the basketball guy, but I'm just
I know.
This is just me being a fan observing, looking at it, like trying to think logically.
So let me go ahead and tell you who won the MVP in 1920. Giannis, right? You know what 1920 was? The 2019-2020 season.
Oh, you said, okay.
You know
said 1920. I was a little bit. What was his free throw percentage?
63%. So when you see what I'm saying? Pete, you got to stop, because when I hear the points that you're trying to make and they make sense, but when you look at the numbers for some of these dudes, not everybody can hit free throws. Giannis is not a great free throw shooter, but yet he has 2 MVPs. He has
Did his free throw percentage improve? Is my question.
Yes, but we're talking about the year that he won the award. It has nothing to do with improving. He won the award shooting 63% from the line. Is what I'm saying to you.
And Shaq's numbers were?
Shaq I think his highest free throw percentage at one point is probably like 60, 61 maybe. But the man still put up 29 points a game. Who cares about free throws?
That's what Giannis is doing.
It doesn't matter. The man averaged is so you're penalizing him. Oh, well, he could have averaged 36 if he hit free throws. He's still the best player in the league. Who cares?
He could have averaged 36 if he hit free throws. He could have averaged 36 if he took care of himself.
That's like saying a guy in baseball, if he was a better hitter, he would have probably hit 305 instead of 260 with 55 home runs. He's still the best player in the league. Who gives a shit about his average? Who cares? That's my whole thing. If you're the best player on the best team, that's what the NBA has told us. You're supposed to be the MVP. And Shaq, more times out of not, was the best player on the best team in the NBA because the Lakers were one of the most dominant teams when he was running. That's all I'm saying.
Was he the best player or was Kobe the best player?
Whichever one, they should have more than one, is what I'm saying. Whichever player, they should have more than one MVP.
I'll leave it at that because I could agree with that.
That's all I'm saying. And Rich said it just now. He said MVP is solely based on storyline. It's 100% true. It's 100% true in regards to that. It's what, and mind you, Rich, the storyline changes yearly. So it's not the same thing. It's whatever script they got, that's what they run with. That's all it is. That's all it is. So moving on, because shouts to Joker. I don't want to seem like we hating on Joker. I don't want to seem like we hating on Shannon.
Definitely not.
It's just more about just make it make sense. Like if it makes sense, if it's logical, I'm not gonna argue it. You know what I'm saying? But if you've told me in years past that the best player on the best team wins the MVP, Shea should have won the MVP. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. Suns hire a new coach. Splattering claps. Suns hire Mike Budenholzer. And let me tell you something. As a Laker fan, I am on cloud 9 because we went ahead and dodged that bullet. We dodged that bullet. We weren't going to get Darvin Ham's daddy. All right? We didn't get Darvin Ham's daddy. So shouts to Mike Budenholzer for his agent for fleecing the Phoenix Suns. He got 5 years, $50 million from the Phoenix Suns. I mean, listen, for a guy that won a championship and got fired out of Milwaukee because he didn't make adjustments, I want to see what he does with this team with no point guard, no true leader, and this is a guy that just literally sits there and doesn't make adjustments. So what's going to happen when they need a coach to be able to give them adjustments? Matt Ishbia is the new owner of the Suns. Shouts to him for trying to make an impact, but man, is he fumbling the bag right. He's fumbling right now, and I'm enjoying seeing it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, so you got to explain this one to me in football terms.
Yes. All right. So this is, my goodness. This is Brandon Staley. If Brandon Staley won a Super Bowl.
Oh, poor Phoenix.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So basically what they have now is a coach who's going to sit there and he's going to run his entire playbook or his entire how he wants to do things from beginning to the end and make no adjustments in regards to what anybody does around him and to what the other teams do.
Correct.
Oh, all right. So how long do you think KD stays?
Flight risk. He'll probably be there another year.
I think so too. I think pretty soon we'll be talking about where he's going. That team, to be honest with you, the Suns have been on a downward spiral since they acquired him.
Well, I mean, it's only been a year, but I mean, they went ahead and blew up the team. They got rid of Chris Paul. They got rid of Monty Williams. They got rid of DeAndre Ayton, who was a bum. We're not talking about him, but the fact
Chris
that
Paul was a good thing to get rid of.
You would fire Monty Williams and hire Frank Vogel in his place. Frank Vogel has always been a great defensive coach. Frank Vogel has never been known to be a great offensive-minded guy. He needs guys on the staff to be able to help him with that particular side of the basketball, right? You have 3 guys. Just listen to how they set this man up for failure. You have 3 guys who are not great defenders at this stage of their career. They're offensive guys. There's no point guard. And you have a head coach that is not great handling offense. So how was he going to be successful in this situation? He's a defensive guy. There's not much defense on the team.
So he's not going to be able to do what he wants to do.
So he's pretty much handcuffed. So you put this guy in a bad situation. They end up getting swept in the playoffs. You fire him, and then you hire a guy that doesn't make it. That doesn't make adjustments. You can't make this shit up. I love it.
So what it sounds like really happens to me is that they had Vogel in there. They were hoping that you had 3 really offensive players who were going to be able to just create on the court and allow Vogel to do what he wanted defensively. But you can't allow the players to just sit there and try to you need a coach.
Exactly. Players need to be coached. Just because this is not 2K. I had said that, Matt Ishbia reminds me of Mikhail Prokhorov, the guy that bought the Nets all those years back, right? He tried to come in there and make a splash and do all this nonsense, made that Brooklyn trade that was so bad with the Boston Celtics.
The Boston players, right?
Yeah, set the franchise back a decade. He's doing the same shit. They're way over the tax threshold. They're in the second apron, maybe in the third apron. Like, they can't spend they have no spending power. They have no draft picks until 2030. the team that you see now is a team that they're going to have. They're stuck. And you go ahead and you hire a guy that's not a leader, that doesn't have a big voice, that doesn't make adjustments, that's not going to be able to get the most out of these players. Now, granted, offensively, they're going to be better. So I think logically what they're looking at is that, okay, well, Vogel was not a great offensive coach. This guy actually has a pretty decent offensive repertoire, so maybe we'll be able to be better. That's not going to work.
It's the same. It's the same problem with the situation that we were speaking about earlier with the Knicks. You can't have your whole team dependent on a handful of players without any kind of depth. You can't leave it on 3 players and 3 aging players. Exactly.
So and that's the thing too. 3 aging players. You mentioned that. 3 old. Durant's old, right? Booker plays old.
He's on year 17, right?
Bradley Beal has been washed for years now. People just haven't realized it. Like, he was in Washington putting all these numbers up. We never seen him in the playoffs because he never was in there because he couldn't get his teams to playoffs. He's washed. So what I'm seeing here is this is a situation that Budenholzer is going to stay. They're not going to fire him. You know why? Because it's Phoenix. Nobody gives a shit about Phoenix. They're going to be here, and they're going to be one of the mid teams in the Western Conference, and they're not going to go anywhere until KD gets bored and he decides to be a flight risk. So, it doesn't really shock me. I called this, what was it, like a couple of days ago? I was talking to my man Kevin. Shouts to Cal. I was like, yo, don't be surprised if Mike Budenholzer gets his job in Phoenix. I said, don't be surprised if he gets it. And look, lo and behold, yesterday they announced that Budenholzer was going to be the guy. It was just fitting. And you know what would be really funny to me? If Darvin Ham joins the staff. Go ahead, go get Darvin Ham. He's not working right now.
Yo,
go give him a job.
I think you hate that man. For I won't say for no reason, but like you really. You have personal feelings associated with him.
I despise him. There's nothing personal. I just think he's a stupid coach. That's all it is. I got nothing to do with your mental aspect of life. You had great stories, survived a lot of stuff, right? But in regards to your X and O's and how you coach the game and see the game, you're a fucking moron. You're a fucking moron.
Isn't he the guy who sat there and like had half a play on the board and erased it and sent everybody else out?
Yeah. It's the same dude where Braun took the clipboard and say, I got the clipboard. Just stand over there. I'm good. They had no respect for the man. Oh. No respect for the man. And I'm gonna tell you what.
You can't coach in that kind of situation.
Nah, you can't have a coach like that. You can't have a coach like that. He ain't good. You're not good. That's what I'm saying. If you're gonna get somebody who got respect and who could actually be able to do something instead of having his hands in his pockets the whole fucking time. That's all it is. And mind you, he came from. I didn't hear you. You said what?
I said, so speaking on him being out of there, who do you think the Lakers are going to get to replace him?
Well, we definitely gonna get into that. I think you hit my segue a little before. We will get there. Hornets hired Charles Lee. I don't know if you know about Charles Lee, but he's an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics. He took the Charlotte Hornets job. Shouts to him, really good young coach. I think he's gonna flourish there. I think they're gonna give him the chance to be able to grow and develop these guys and develop a culture over there. I just wanted to shout him out because he was one of the targets that the Lakers had eyed. And, it was definitely respect for him to get that job. It's not easy to be able to get an NBA job. I'm sure he could have probably waited around for a different offer or a better offer. But, when you get a job offer in the NBA, you got to take it, especially as a black man, because you don't know when the next chance is going to come up. So, shouts to him for that.
How much did he have to do with?
You going in and out.
My Wi-Fi acting up?
Yeah. Hold on. We're going to get Al back. So, yeah, I think Al was probably talking about what type of impact he's had on the Boston Celtics. He's had a great impact on the Celtics. Just the way he schemes things and how he develops the young guys, how he speaks to them. He's very personable, understands what they need to do to be able to get to the next level and get better. he's worked a lot with Derek White. So, he's done a lot of good things for the Boston Celtics team. And I think that's why they kind of was like, look, man, like, you go ahead and go chase it, because, you don't know when you're going to get another opportunity. You're a hot commodity right now. Strike while the iron's hot. So shouts to him. Let me see if we actually have some interesting takes this year. I don't know if we have any interesting stories. Yeah, we do. We're going to talk about my man Glenn Davis. I took the TikTok today. Shouts to Glenn Davis, honestly, because look, the man defrauded the benefit fund in the NBA, cost a lot of people their benefits, because once somebody does some dumb shit, it just ruins it for everybody, right? But the man stood on his square, and he's taking his bid. He's doing 3.5. Probably not going to do the whole 3.5, because obviously he's going to Fed prison, and it's kind of like Club Med for players like him, athletes like him, high profile people like him. But I definitely want to talk about the other aspect of being an athlete. Obviously, I'm not an athlete. If I was, I have a nicer studio. But the problem that I want to talk about is the fact that when these athletes get to a certain point, when you're making $350, $450 a week, or every 2 weeks, or whatever it is, like, you always think that money is going to be there. You live a certain way to the point where you're not saving money. You're blowing money. You don't have an accountant. You got some family member going ahead and doing things. Like, when the money does run out and there's no savings, there's nobody giving you any bailout packages. All the family members and friends that had their hands out turn their back on you. They got nothing for you. Desperation kicks in. Desperation to continue to live that high profile lifestyle, to just get a taste of it again. You will literally do anything you can to be able to get back to that level, because there was no education in regards to how to manage your bread, how to manage your money. So Big Baby Davis is one of the stories in the league, one of the sad stories in sports. It's one of those things where I feel bad for the dude, but I don't feel bad for the dude. I feel bad in regards to his lack of knowledge of how to be able to manage his money, but I don't feel sorry for him because of all the stuff that he did and cost other people their benefits and all that other stuff, right? So, two things are separate. Rich asked a question right now, said Brett Favre frauded those people, and what were those results? Yeah, I mean, look, I can't disagree with you. I mean, in regards to him, he ain't in jail, right? We still don't know what the hell's going on with that. He's denied it. I don't even know what the update on that is, Rich. But look, at the end of the day, we all know what the situation is. Brett Favre is white. Big Baby Davis is black. And a lot of times that's the difference in a whole bunch of stuff, right? Like, people don't want to talk about race. People don't like it's very insensitive or it makes people uncomfortable. That's the situation, right? Is that sometimes just because of what state you in and how you look is how they're going to bag you. So that's all it is. That's all it is. Al is back. Yeah. So we talking about, Glenn Davis, him getting 3.5 years for defrauding the benefit fund for the NBA. Your thoughts on that?
I caught the tail end of what you said, and you're 100% right. First of all, you defrauded them. You deserve to have. You get what you get coming to you. Period.
Yep.
So I'm not going to be one of these people who sit up here and say, "Oh, he shouldn't have this done. He shouldn't have that done." You got 3 years. You got 3 years. But it is very interesting that when people who have very specific differences commit very similar crimes, they don't get the same type of vitriol. They don't get the same type of persecution. They don't get the same type of punishment.
Right.
You brought up Brett Favre. Brett Favre did a lot more.
Right.
He defrauded an entire welfare system of a state. which is crazy, and the ramifications of his actions were 10 times greater.
Right.
But I think he still hasn't faced any type of legal ramifications for it. I think the only thing that happened was they told him to get back the money, and he said, "Yeah, I will, but I don't got it."
Yeah, like I don't even know what, like I said, I don't even know what's going on with the whole Brett Favre situation. It's just one of those things where it's just like
it's under the rug. It's been swept under. They just don't talk about it now.
They don't talk about it now, but Glenn Davis doing 3.5.
Glenn Davis should do his 3.5. You defrauded the fund. Like, you knew what you were doing when you did it. You got caught. Like, I'm a firm believer in that. If you do something and you know what you're doing, you get caught, take the hit.
Right. Yeah. No, listen, I don't disagree that he should be doing the time. It's just that sometimes we like to see a little bit more uniformity when it comes to our judicial system. You know what I'm saying?
No, 1,000% that I do want.
Yeah. Moving on. It's a topic that I'd like to talk about in stark detail. There's no irrelevant news of the week because I think this is just a straight hoop show, and it's fine. I like it this way. James Harden, for years, I think he's been one of those people to kind of fool the masses because of his style of play, because of the numbers that he puts up. But I am not somebody that was ever fooled by James Harden, because when you see the regular season numbers, they never equate to playoffs. And I've always told people this, is that anybody can look good in the regular season. I'm not saying anybody, because it takes skill. It takes a lot of talent to be able to be consistently good and put up good numbers. Problem is that the playoffs really define you as an athlete. It defines your legacy. It defines your career. Anybody that knows that, you watch football, it's about playoffs. It's about what you do in the biggest moments that make you a legend and an icon, right? James Harden has come up so short in the playoffs over his career that it's arguably laughable. Would you like to know a stat, Al? I'd like to give you a stat that's going to shock you. Do you know that James Harden has the most playoff games in NBA history shooting less than 20%? History. Al's going. So, yeah. So 20%. He has the most games shooting less than 20% in the playoffs. We're talking about an MVP, guy that's put up triple doubles, a guy that has bounced around from team to team because he's not happy. He's been a part of some great teams in his career. Less than 20%. He's shot more than anybody in the league. History. In the history of the league, nobody has ever had more bad games than James Harden in the playoffs. Just think about that. And we've seen it time and time again. We saw it just this season with the Dallas Mavericks, right? We saw I think it was game 4 or whatever it was. They looked like dog shit. They looked horrible. But this is what people fail to realize. You talk to people, you talk to these guys, and they're just like, yo, listen, oh, well, yo, James Harden's a bucket. Yeah. Oh, you put James Harden with these guys, and
James Harden is a bucket. But the problem is that people are walking to the situation and they expect one thing that you can't expect James Harden to be is your number 1.
Or your number 2.
Or he'll be a strong number 3, but there's a good reason why when he was really young in his career, he worked so well with OKC, because he wasn't their number 1, he wasn't their number 2, he was their number 3. And he was their 6th man, wasn't he?
Yes.
So James Harden, extremely talented, like probably the best basketball player I probably would have ever encountered in my physical life. You know what I mean? But he's in the NBA. He's in a league of people who are all great basketball players. And his personality and what he wants to be doesn't match what he is. Like you put him in the right system, that system that he had when he was in Houston, where he was putting up those ridiculous numbers every single year. He'll be able to produce that for you, but he's not going to be able to give you what you need, like you said, during the playoffs, because the playoffs is something completely different. And if you go into the playoffs with him leading you, you're not going to get very far. And it's been proven time and time again.
Yeah, but why? So why are people continue to be duped by this man, by this kept wife? Is what I call James Harden. Why they continue to be duped by him?
It's the persona of James Harden. It's not James Harden. It's what our idea of James Harden is.
That's interesting. I think I like that. The idea of what he is instead of what he is in front of you in regards to the present. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, listen, I'm gonna say right now, look right into the camera. James Harden's a failure in the NBA. It's a failure. He is one of those people that, yes, he's a failure.
No, you can't. You're going too far.
He's a failure. If I'm an owner, right, and I'm giving you $40-50 million a season, I am paying you for playoffs. I am not paying you to be a circus act and a sideshow in the regular season. I am paying you to be able to get me from point A to point B and advance in rounds and get to where we need to be. He has not been that guy for a very, very long time. And he continues to have this persona and behave like this diva that he is. You're not.
He's a rock star.
He hasn't been that guy since, like you said, Houston. He hasn't been that guy. The last time he saw a conference final was in Houston. He failed in Brooklyn. He failed in Philly. And he's failing with the Clippers. He's a complete failure.
Brooklyn, the situation in Brooklyn was where they just brought a bunch of personalities in and they brought a bunch of people who should be able to do this. There was no leadership. Who was the coach that they had? Steve Nash. Steve Nash should have never been the coach. They were trying to recreate what happened in Golden State by bringing in a former player who in theory should have known what he was doing, but just because you were a good player doesn't mean you can sit there and be a great coach.
All right, and what's the difference in LA right now, other than the coach? There is none.
In LA, he should be successful. And that's what I was like. He should be successful in the situation that he's in right now. The situations in Brooklyn, I can give him a pass on that. In Philly, they were trying to patchwork together things. What happened?
A pass.
I can give him a pass for Brooklyn because he wasn't the only problem in Brooklyn.
Yeah, of course he wasn't the only problem in Brooklyn. But Brooklyn was a disaster because it was mainly him.
He was not the main disaster. I mean, you could put just as much on Kyrie in that situation.
Man, I will tell you that Net fans, if they see James Harden right now, they will throw tomatoes at him. That's how much they hate James Harden, because he quit on court.
There you go. Yeah, he quit on court. But
as bad as KD is, as bad as Kyrie is, and in regards to their stuff, they don't quit on court. James Harden does that everywhere he goes. He's a quitter, and I've never seen, if you're a real hooper and you're somebody that like really respects work ethic, I don't see how you can be able to ever rock with a dude like James Harden, because all he does is quit when situations get dicey. He's a quitter.
He's the real life version of the guy you're playing video games with who turns off the system when he's losing.
100%.
Like that's what it is. And like I said,
why would you continue to have that on your team? Why?
Because he's super talented. He's super talented. You can't take that away from him. He's not a failure. He's not a failure. He's not a bad player. It's what they expect him to be versus what he is. And that's the issue. The issue isn't James Harden. The issue is the people who are hiring James Harden.
Okay, but you just said it. He's super talented. So because he's super talented, people are going to continue to give him chances. If you have a business and you got a dude that's super talented and does a whole bunch of stuff, but he's constantly getting into fights and he's late to work, what are you going to do with that particular employee?
Constantly getting into fights and late to work. Look, I'll be honest with you. I've been at places where the guy who's constantly getting into fights and late to work and able to, because he's been able to serve a purpose. What's the purpose, though? Like, he's super talented. Like Ezekiel Elliott, when he first got to the Cowboys, super talented, one of the best rookie running back seasons I've ever seen, right? If you asked him to quarterback that team, you'd be a fool. He can't
but you
like
said,
James Harden can't do what he's not supposed to do.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm saying is that every situation he goes into, he tends to make it worse. He made Philly worse because of when he left. Not talking about on the court. When they were playing good, everything's fine. But you gotta remember, when he was in Philly, they were up 3-2 against the Celtics and lost because he had 2 dog shit games in 6 and 7. Same thing with Embiid. They tend to choke when it matters the most. So a guy like that,
so can you put that all on him though?
Yes, because he does it everywhere he goes. What do you mean? How can you not? If you do it in Houston, if you did it in Brooklyn, if you did it in Philly, and you did it with the Clippers, what am I supposed to think that you are? You failed at every situation because your performance. We're not talking about anybody else's performance. We're talking about James Harden's performance is always dog shit. I just gave you the stat. He has the most games of shooting 20% or less in basketball history. That has nothing to do with anybody else. That's an individual stat.
It's a horrible thing to have to have.
That's like you being a fan of Jalen Hurts, and in the big games, he's throwing 5 interceptions every game.
He's not going to be my quarterback much longer.
At some point, what's going to happen to Jalen Hurts? He's not going to be the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles anymore, is he? And if somebody tells you, he's a great player, he got us to certain situations, you're going to be like, what happened to the playoffs? What happened in the divisional round, him throwing 6 picks? It has nothing to do with regular season.
Every single time.
It has everything to do with how you perform when the lights are brightest, and that's playoffs. That's playoffs. And he tends to shrink. So when people show you who they are, they always tell you, believe them. And this is who James Harden's been his entire career. Believe who he is. He's a fraud and a failure. That's all I'm going to say. And anybody want to tell me different, go ahead and pull up stats. And I'll pull up more stats and show you how much of a fraud he is. He's been a fraud his entire career.
He's not a fraud and a failure. He's a diva who's been misused.
So let me ask you a question. How is he supposed to be used?
He's supposed to be used as a third player. He's not, like I said initially, he's not supposed to be the person who leads your team. He's not a leader.
You're going to pay a third player $40-50 million a year? No.
Now, I wouldn't do that. But if you're James Harden and you've gotten $40 million for the year, are you going to take less? If you know somebody's going to give it to you?
You have no choice at this point if everybody looks at you and says, I'm not giving you that.
But they keep giving it to him.
You're 100% right. I'm not knocking James Harden. Of course, it's going to fall on the teams. But what I'm saying is that at some point, that card is going to run dry. He's not going to be able to play that shit no more in regards to jumping from team to team without people starting to look and say, you know what? I'm not giving you that type of money. If you want to come to my team,
get your bag. Keep doing it till they stop paying you, James.
Yeah. You go ahead and cake for that bum. He a bum. Failure.
Just don't come to the Knicks.
Yeah, I can't wait till he comes to the Knicks. I can't wait. Can't wait till he comes to the Knicks.
Don't do that.
I wish
my mama a bitch. Why don't you? Why would you?
I wished him to come to the Clippers. Don't let me do the juju and let him come to New York, because I will.
Don't do that. I'll never speak to you again.
That's fine. I will be happy to see James Harden corrode your franchise like he's corroded every single franchise he's touched since he's been in the NBA. Moving on. Moving on. That fraud.
Don't talk to me like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk harsh of you, but I'm sick of him. LeBron James has there's some reports out there that said that he liked to play no more than 2 more years in the league, and the Lakers are hell bent on giving him exactly what he wants. You know, they want to, if he wants to come back for a year and retire, if he wants to come back for 2 or 3, they're willing to give him as much as he wants. What are your thoughts about LeBron James and his decision to continue playing? Is it the right move for him to continue playing and play with the Lakers, or should he be able to go somewhere else?
LeBron should be able to go somewhere else. If I was LeBron, I'd go to whatever. I'd be looking for a slam dunk contender right now. If I was LeBron, LeBron is just complete side part right now.
Yeah, connection bad. Yeah. So while Al fixes that again, listen, here's my thing. LeBron James has earned whatever position he's in. If he wants to play another 2 years or 3 years, 1 year, whatever it is. I've heard a lot of takes. I've heard a lot of people say that Philadelphia is the destination that he should go to. Why should he go there? Why would he go there with a banged up Embiid? Why? There's no reason. Why? Oh, he should go to Golden State. He should go. Okay, cool. But there's no guarantee that you're going to win anywhere you go. I think the Lakers, they've proven over the last 2 seasons that they have built a decent team to be able to compete. Last season, they ran into a buzzsaw with Denver, and they played Denver to such a fine margin, a thin margin of error that it was a possession or two that swung the game. Same thing in the series that they played them this year. So the Lakers are very close. They have to be able to improve in the margins and make sure that they can be able to find the right pieces and probably go get the big men again. Go get rim protection. Go get guys that can rebound. Go get guys that can be able to control the boards so you can be able to dictate the pace and the tempo of the basketball game. I think that's what they need to do. So my thing is that, yes, he can go other places. Yes, he can be able to make an impact somewhere else. But I don't necessarily believe he wants to go anywhere, because if he did, I think he would be making those moves already. And we don't know what he's going to do, but all roads do point that he is going back to Los Angeles, because it just makes sense. It makes sense to go back to the Lakers, to be able to close his career out with them. He has his best friend here in regards to Anthony Davis. They've played very well together in the times that they have been healthy. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that he should go anywhere. Yes, I'm a Lakers fan. Of course, I'm gonna always side with that because I think it's the most plausible thing. But there's also a thing out there saying that the Lakers are willing to draft Bronny as well in the second round. If he's available in the second round, why the fuck not? You're not taking a first round flyer on him. You're not taking number 17 and doing it. So why the hell not? Go ahead and take him in the second round, because I do believe that he will drop into the second round because of him coming out early and them not realizing what he is and all this stuff. So yeah, I do believe that's definitely an option if they can be able to get him, go get him. So yeah. So Al, you were talking about that. LeBron should definitely leave. I don't disagree with you. He has the option if he wants to leave, but I just don't feel that he's going to, because he's very comfortable in LA. And like I kind of laid out the opinions in regards to the Lakers are very, very close in regards to being from where they are to a little higher in up the tier in the Western Conference. They need to make some adjustments in regards to getting some size. Having just Anthony Davis down there, as good as he's been this season, as good as he's played, they need to be a little better. They need to have more depth at the center position and kind of go back to what they were in the bubble, having rim protection, having guys that can be able to block shots and rebound and stuff like that, so you can be able to control the game a little better. And also, too, having a coach that understands what the fuck they're doing, because if we're going to be honest, right, even against Denver, as good as Denver was against the Lakers, if you switch coaches, Lakers win that series because the coach is better. You know what I mean? Mike Malone is way better than a Darvin Ham. You need, I tell people all the time, is that players get you to the playoffs. Coaches win you series because of the adjustments that they make, the right moves that they make, the buttons that they press in the playoffs. If you don't have a coach that can be able to do that, you're going to struggle. And this is why you see teams like Milwaukee struggle, because they got idiots like Doc Rivers coaching them. You know what I mean? Like you
I
have
was just about to bring up Doc Rivers.
it matters in the playoffs. It doesn't necessarily matter in the regular season like that. Obviously it does, because you want to make the playoffs, but it's really, really important to be able to focus on the X and O's and the execution, the halftime adjustments, the plays out of timeouts, all of those things. It matters when you have a coach that knows what they're doing. And when you don't have a coach that knows what you're doing, it's really, really bad. So the fact that the Lakers are searching for a new coach and LeBron has this decision to make, I think it kind of coincides and goes hand in hand that he's going to have a say in who the next coach is. And that's why it's more beneficial for him to stay with the Lakers.
I don't think even if he has a hand in picking the coach or anything like that is going to be beneficial to him. I think the benefit to LeBron is really everything outside of basketball. His whole lifestyle right now is built out in LA. His children are there. His family is there. His wife is building her own media empire. Like, they've really cemented themselves in that community. He cemented himself in the LA life. He's not going to want to go somewhere else to be able to sit there and start over or play. Really and truthfully, maybe step back and play second best player, not the guy on his team. I don't think LeBron is built mentally to handle not being the man on his team. And right now, that might be part of the issue.
Nah, I don't think so, man. I don't think that's right. No, I don't agree with that.
I don't think so. I don't think he could take a step back and say, "I'll be number two." The reason why it might be so hard to really visualize that's the issue is because of how good LeBron is. Like, what LeBron is doing is Brady-esque. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's ever played. Like, I still got LeBron number two, but nobody's ever played as long as he has. Nobody has the longevity. Nobody has the longevity, and nobody has the consistency that LeBron had. Period. Nobody has consistently also been able to, wherever he go, he automatically turns that team into a contender.
Correct.
No matter what the situation is, no matter what he has around him, no matter what coach it is, like, add LeBron equals playoffs. Period. So you can take imagine taking LeBron right now and putting him on the Minnesota, or taking LeBron right now and adding him to a Knicks. You know what I mean? Or, well, I don't really see how he'd fit in Boston, but adding him back in Miami. Like you take him and you put him in those situations, and you're sitting back, you're like, oh shit, like it's a what you gonna do situation. But he's not gonna give up the control that he has, because he's always had that ever since he left Cleveland the first time. Well, ever since he went back to Cleveland, you could say he had the control of the basketball team and controlled everything that was going on around ever since he left Miami. He's not going to be number two on the team, and he's not going to give up his lifestyle in LA. So he's just really going to, like, as much as anybody may think LeBron holds the power in the situation, LA really holds the power, because no matter what LA chooses to do, he's not going to play anywhere else.
Well, I don't think I necessarily agree. I see your point in regards to the power that he wields, right? But I don't necessarily believe that at this stage of his career that he cares about wielding that power on the court. If I'm a Lakers fan, so I watch every game. I watch every dribble of every game. Anthony Davis has been the motor to this team for the last 2 seasons, right? Mm-hmm. Last year, he wasn't so healthy. He was banged up. So LeBron, by default, had to step up his game and be better, right? Obviously, there's different things that happened this year, right? With the scoring record and all these other things where he was gunning for that and stuff like that, right? But Anthony Davis is the engine to this team. And you've seen that in the playoffs. You see how consistent he was the whole season. LeBron James is okay with being second fiddle. It just depends on who the number one fiddle is. If you got a guy that's not up to snuff to be the number one guy, then, hey, there's no reason for me to play second fiddle. But if you got a guy that's talented enough for me to be able to play second fiddle, then I have no problem with that. I think that's kind of every great player's mindset, is that I'm okay being the Robin to the situation. but you got to make sure that there's a legit Batman. Because if we're both on the same plane, then nah. Like, give me the rock and let me work, because I've been successful doing it this way. And if you have to show me different, then you got to show me different. And that's where a coach comes in, right? Because if a coach says, hey, listen, LeBron, this is what we're going to do. This is what the philosophy is. LeBron has to have trust in the guy that's calling the shots to be able to fall back. When you saw in Cleveland, Ty Lue took that team over, LeBron James fell back. He listened to Ty Lue. There was times where LeBron wanted to be, he would go on these tangents and get mad and get frustrated. And Ty Lue was the one to be like, yo, you gotta relax and stop behaving like that. Get your head back in the game, bro. We need you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he still held all the power in that dynamic. He was the GM. He was
not the GM. You need to stop. This narrative, y'all have to stop it. Y'all have to stop it. I'm telling you, you guys with your Jordan VHS tapes, you have to stop. Because if I can tell you some stuff about Jordan, you probably wouldn't remember or believe, because you guys are just hoodwinked. You know that Jordan wanted a whole bunch of North Carolina guys on the Bulls, right?
Yeah, he wanted that. He didn't get it.
And Jerry Krause told him no.
Yeah, he did. He didn't have it.
So every player tries to wield their own power. It has nothing, just like you said about James Harden. If you can be able to get $50 million from an owner, go ahead and go get it. I don't fault James Harden. So why would you fault a guy like LeBron if he's wielding his power and they're saying, all right, okay, cool, whatever you say? It takes somebody to be able to say, no, this is how we're going to do it this way. You got to remember, if you're working for somebody, let's just put it in a regular term. If you're working at a job, and in that job, you have a supervisor, and you're smarter than your supervisor, how do you think that job is going to go for you?
Depends on what you do in that situation. 48 laws of power. Don't let the person who holds the purse strings know that you're smarter than them.
Right.
How you play it.
But if you know that you're smarter than this person, at some point when things get dicey, what's going to happen? There's a lack of respect there. You have to remember, LeBron has the highest IQ that we've ever seen in basketball, ever. Just imagine having two coaches in your entire career that are actually your mental equal, Ty Lue and Eric Spoelstra. Everybody else has not been. So by default, you're always going to be in defense mode, because you have to take the reins, because you're the smartest guy in the room. You understand what I'm saying? If LeBron had a Phil Jackson, if LeBron had a Greg Popovich, whatever you want to say, but if he had those guys, if he had a Pat Riley, if he had a Jeff Van Gundy, any one of these dudes that were leaders that you can be able to respect and listen to, do you honestly believe that LeBron wouldn't take a backseat? Because he would. It's about being led. He's never been able to have a head coach other than two guys. And guess what those two guys got him? Championships. They got him championships. Outside of Frank Vogel, right? Who he's well respected, but he's not a great head coach. Outside of those two dudes, he's had nothing. He's had nothing. So at this point, the coach and his tenure with the Lakers is very important, because in these 2 years, the Lakers still have a championship window. You need to find the right coach that LeBron respects and can be able to work with. It's just like Peyton Manning, right? When you have a Peyton Manning on your team, you don't coach Peyton Manning. You give him recommendations. You give him options of what he can do to be able to take all the plays and just put them together. You don't coach a Peyton Manning. You work with a Peyton Manning. You work with a Tom Brady. You know what I mean? You don't coach those dudes.
Tom Brady took coaching.
No, not in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, you have to, bro.
That was Bruce Arians' system.
In 2020, Bruce Arians was running whatever system. You remember the second half of the season? Brady went to Arians and said, we need to change these things. And they went on the run. If you didn't know that, go look it up because that's exactly what happened. So this is what I'm saying is that great people with great minds need to be in a partnership. And if they don't feel that that other person in that partnership is their equal, it's going to be problems. Darvin Ham was not LeBron's equal.
No.
Frank Vogel, not LeBron's equal. David Blatt, not LeBron's equal. Right? Mike Brown at that time, not LeBron's equal. Like all of these guys that have come into his life in regards to head coaches have not been the guy to be able to further and further along his career or have him take a back seat. That's all I'm saying. Like I get the whole power thing, and yes, he's been wielding his power, but it takes another alpha dog to be able to have an alpha dog look at him and say, you know what? All right, cool. I respect it. Right? If you got somebody that's on your team that you know that is just as good as you, you're gonna respect that dude more than the guy that isn't. And that's just the way life is. Just the way life is.
I feel you on that, but my thing about LeBron at this stage is what LeBron says he wants isn't what LeBron is working towards. What LeBron is working towards is keeping his situation palatable for him. What he says is he wants championships. He's not making the moves and doing the things to get those championships. Like, I don't think the Lakers are a bad team. I just don't think the Lakers have a chance to win the championship. They don't have a chance of coming out the West.
So when you say LeBron is not doing the things to win a championship, explain.
LeBron needs to leave the Lakers.
If he wants to win a championship with the Lakers, why would you say that he's not doing things that's needed to win a championship?
He can't win a championship with the Lakers. Like cut and run. Cut and run. He needs to all of that building and doing all of this and needs to give all of that up and go to something that's ready set.
You're a Knicks fan telling me this. You realize that, right?
Yes, I am. You
have Julius Randle on your fucking team. Don't tell me about any team not being ready for no damn championship. Your team is all right. Don't overstep your boundaries. That's all I'm saying. As a Knicks fan, don't overstep your boundaries. 4 years ago, we was busting ass. We was in a Western Conference Finals last year. Western Conference Final, we lost to the NBA champion. You try to tell me that this team is not close enough to win a title? What the reason is that you have a stupid ass coach that got fired. So this segues now into my situation now, or the last segment before we go into W of the Week, is that you need to get a guy that's smart. And Ty Lue is the head coach of the Clippers right now. He has 1 year left on his deal. They have put out rumors, and Woj is the message boy for the Clippers, said that the Clippers, they want to sign him to a long-term deal. Ty Lue has come out and said that he wants to stay with the Clippers. He doesn't want to move around. So all signs and all roads point to him signing back with the Clippers. However, it hasn't happened yet. And every day that it doesn't happen, the noise gets louder. Every day that they don't get a deal, the noise gets louder. I can't help to think that LeBron and Ty speak. So
all the time.
It's either the only way that this is going to happen is if Ty Lue goes to management and says he wants out because he has another year, right? So they can honor it. They don't have to honor it. But we're going to see what happens. But if it's not Ty Lue, the guy that I want is as everybody knows, it's not Mark Jackson, because Mark Jackson ain't never gonna get a shot. I understand that.
I think I'm off the Mark Jackson narcotic right now.
I think you have to be. It's JJ Redick. I don't care what nobody wants to tell me. I don't care what nobody wants to tell me about anything going forward about he doesn't have experience, he doesn't this is da. You gotta understand that there's certain times in history where you see guys come along with that IQ of theirs, it normally translates to being a head coach. Steve Kerr was a guy that got coaching 101 from the two pillar greats, Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson. You don't think that he was actually going to become a head coach, a good head coach? It was going to happen. This guy, JJ Redick, he's a smart dude. He understands the game. People respect him. He's personable. He's young. So there's two things that the Lakers need. Obviously, you need complete opposite from what you have from Darvin Ham, right? You need somebody that the players are going to respect. You need somebody that's going to be able to hold their own in the press conferences. You need somebody that's going to take accountability. You need somebody that's going to be able to make good adjustments, make good out of timeout plays, execution, make sure the players are ready to play coming out of halftime. All of these things you want a different situation. The other part of this that a lot of people are not talking about is that you need a coach to be beyond LeBron James. When LeBron James retires, and it's coming very soon, right? You still need a guy that's young enough that can be able to grow with this franchise, build up the next generation of players, right? Develop guys. JJ Redick can be that guy because he's young enough. If you give him the staff, a veteran staff of head coaches that used to be head coaches, you got to remember when the Lakers won in 2020, Al, they had nothing but great head coaches as assistants on that staff. Jason Kidd was on that staff. You had what's my man name that used to coach the Nets? They had a whole bunch of dudes that were very good veteran coaches on that staff that made Vogel's job a lot easier. When you have that group of guys that you can be able to lean on, it's very important. So who's to say that JJ Redick can't have some veteran coaches on his staff to be able to help him along and help him with adjustments, help him with this, help him with that. But if the IQ is there, if the image of him being a professional knows how to kind of relate to his players, that's what you're looking for as a head coach, out of a head coach. And also, too, the fact that he's young enough to be able to develop that team going forward. So
I don't think his age has a lot to do with number one, I completely disagree with you as far as JJ Redick for the Lakers, because like you said, LeBron, smartest man in the room.
Right.
JJ has that same I'm the smartest man in the room tendency. Those two things are going to clash.
They don't. That's where you're wrong. Similar mind.
JJ I've seen commentating on television is the one you're telling me doesn't have that type of attitude.
He's what I'm saying is that he has confidence. I just explained it to you, and I guess it went over your head. LeBron is looking for an equal, because if he has an equal, he won't have to combat it, is what I'm saying. It's a partnership. LeBron doesn't need to be the alpha. If he has a guy that he can be able to speak to on an intellectual level, there's no reason to compete. If me and you can be able to talk on an intellectual level about a whole bunch of stuff, I don't need to be right and you need to be wrong. We're going to speak about things. We're going to be able to share ideas.
But we also have to be able to speak to each other in a way where we can respect each other, not only respecting each other's intelligence, but respecting what each other is bringing to the table, and be able to go back and forth.
LeBron has shown that, Al, is what I'm saying to you.
I think LeBron can do it. I don't have faith in JJ.
They're on a podcast. You don't see it already? Have you watched the pod?
The podcast and having conversation is different between both of them sharing an equal goal and trying to figure out how they're going to get there.
Absolutely. But guess what happened with Ty Lue? Ty Lue wasn't the head coach the whole year. You do know that, right?
I know he wasn't the head coach.
David Black got fired and he stepped in. So what's the difference? Is that you can develop a relationship with somebody on the court when you're in battle. This is all I'm saying. But when you're an intellectual, you're willing to listen more. That's the whole point of this whole diatribe that I went on. I will listen to you because you're smart. I am not going to listen to you if you're an idiot. I don't care if you're my supervisor. I don't care if you're my head coach. If I'm smarter than you, I'm never going to listen to you. That's the whole point. LeBron needs somebody who he respects to listen to.
LeBron does need that, but
Eric Spoelstra was a rookie head coach when he coached the Heat. You know that he was a rookie head coach.
Very different personalities from JJ though.
How?
Like I just think that my personal feeling is that JJ is going to walk in there and he's going to want to be the smartest man in the room. And I don't think Ty or Eric had that need. And I think that's why they were able to sit there and build that type of relationship with LeBron.
We'll see. Listen, the one thing about me that I always love is that a lot of times I'm just right. And most of the time I'm right before I get dragged but I'm normally right. And when I'm right, I keep receipts. That's the sad part. I keep receipts. I am petty. I'm petty. I'm super petty. I go back into comments after things that I've said and people drag me. I'll go ahead and go ask them questions. What's up now? Speak to me now.
Well, I'll have this conversation with you should they be brought in there. But
listen, you are the last person to ever say anything to me about anything because you have my face on your leg.
Summertime's coming. It's the season. I got to start explaining why I got that face. But that tattoo is way more of a testament to the fact that I'm a man of my word, and it's a testament to show you what blind belief will bring you to.
Right, absolutely, and you also have a blind belief to not listen to what I'm saying right now. So we're gonna see how it unfolds. We're gonna see.
We're just not betting any tattoos on it.
No. Listen, I don't want to do it to you again. I feel bad. It's a nice tattoo, but I feel bad.
Awesome tattoo. I haven't figured it out yet.
You know, shouts to Green Apple, shouts to Rich and the gang.
Shout out to Rich.
Yeah, but last topic. You know, I really want to talk about this real quick. Is that this is another topic that I got dragged on Instagram for. I called Luka Doncic a sideshow, a circus show. I said that, you know, he's a guy that sells a lot of tickets. He's a great player, but he needs to do less to get more out of his team and out of his franchise. Like we've seen players in history do less to get everybody else involved to develop those players, and they get more out of it. We saw Kobe Bryant realize in 2008 that if he does less, he gets more out of the team. And what ended up happening is that he won an MVP. He won his first and only MVP with the Los Angeles Lakers because he realized that, oh shit, I actually got some good players around me this year. I can be able to kind of like give Powell the ball. I can give Lamar. I can give Shannon Brown. I can give all of these guys opportunities to succeed without me having to take 39 shots a game, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing to Luka was he's a great player. So I said in the IG post, he's a great player, but I need to see him change his game to be able to unlock something else that we've never seen from the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I don't think that was a bad take. People dragged me for it. But here's the thing, Al. So funny how things unfold. And Denver is beating the shit out of the Timberwolves right now. 93-66. Beating. You want to make a bet? You want to make a bet in this series? I'm just saying, don't let Denver win that next game. That's what I'm saying. They win that next game, you in trouble.
I said Denver's gonna win 2 games.
Yeah, they're gonna win 4 games. 4 of them things. 4. So yeah, going back to Luka. So they dragged me. I'm telling people were talking about, I don't know, hoops. I need to go hang myself in a broom closet. It was bad.
Oh, that's a little harsh.
It was bad, right? You go ahead and check it. That shit got over like 200,000 views. It was bad, right? I'm just like, yo, these people don't realize what I was saying. Yeah, I come off my way of saying things is always harsh because that's just the way I go. It's real.
Your delivery could be worked on.
Yeah, I'm a truth. Damn that. I'm a truth teller. I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm not gonna butter it up like these people. I'm not one of these parents out here that tell you that it's okay to have a 9th place trophy. I'm gonna tell you that you suck. And you need to give it up. Go get a badminton, go get a badminton handle or something and go do something. Go play video games. But you ain't running no damn track. You slow. That's
we got to work on your delivery. We got to work on your poofs.
You ain't never gonna work on my delivery. It's got me this far, right? So all I'm saying is that they dragged me. But guess who? There's an anonymous source out there now that says that, when Luka is not on the floor, if he's not playing in that game, they feel a lot more free and they actually love they enjoy playing basketball more. I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what it is. So anonymous, guys, obviously, nobody's going to put their name on something. But it's so crazy that this comes out now because now, if true, what are your thoughts on that? Because I've said it. And if this is true, it kind of coincides with what I said is that it must be really difficult as a basketball player to play with a dude like Luka if you know that you have talent. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know if it's difficult to play. I think Luka does need to change his game. And you had made a really good point with Kobe being able to realize that he has a lot of talent around him and that he didn't have to go for that. But what was it that Kobe used to say? You miss every shot you don't take. He didn't have to step onto the court with that mentality to necessarily be successful. And maybe Luka does have to take a step back and assess how he's playing and how he's being able to bring out the best in his teammates. But I mean, to call him a sideshow, I think is a little bit far.
He does a lot of tickets. That's it.
He does a lot more than sell a lot of tickets. The guy is talented. He's super talented. He's effective.
What does he do? Get triple doubles? That's it?
He's a walking triple double. Well, I mean, then you could think about it like this. Who was one of the last guys we saw that was a walking triple double?
Russell bum-ass Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook wasn't a bum. He just was a stat machine. If he had the wherewithal that he has playing today and the style he's playing today back when he was at the height of his athletic powers.
What style? What are you talking about?
I think that Russell Westbrook is able to sit back and accept a little bit more of the role that he is, and his personality isn't as dominant as it was before.
Because he had
to be humbled. He had no choice. He has no choice. He had to be humbled to get to that point. What I'm saying is, had he come to that point without having to be humbled like that, and to say, hey, making these adjustments will make my team better, and I don't necessarily have to be XYZ.
Right.
He would have been more successful, and I think Luka will be more successful if he's able to make those choices while he's still as talented as he is right now, before he loses a lot of his ability to father time.
Okay, so what do you think about the anonymous source then? You think that's accurate or not?
I think anonymous source is anonymous source. It could be anybody. Put your name on it, or it don't mean nothing.
But let's just talk about a scenario if true. What does that say about a guy like Luka? If true.
If true, that means that Luka is more of a detriment to his team than he is a plus, regardless of how many points and what type of stats he puts up. And if true, Luka either needs to change his style of play and change the way that he is interacting with his team on the court, or he needs to leave.
Yeah.
Period.
I agree. Listen, like I said, I don't know if it's true, but it's just very funny how that just comes out, and I'm just here. I'm here like, yo, I try to tell y'all. Like I try to tell people about the Clippers. I try to tell you about this whole situation with JJ Redick. Don't be surprised when it happens and JJ Redick ends up turning.
I'm going to be very surprised if JJ Redick is successful.
The next Greg Popovich. I'm telling you right now, like I keep receipts. I'm telling you right now, I can see it. It's just like wrestling. I told everybody 10, 12, 14 years ago that Roman Reigns was the next GOAT. I told everybody. And look, I know he's not the GOAT. Now look, billions of dollars later, WWE making more money than they've ever made. Why? Because of Roman Reigns. Like, listen, I see things before it happens. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is why if y'all need to be on the show now. Get on it, right? Make sure that you're liking and subscribing and telling people about it, because I always say that once the wave starts, you want to be a part of this. You don't want to just jump on and not realize what's going on, because I see it already. I've seen this thing play out. I've seen it. That's what I'm saying. So start listening to the truth teller. I don't give a damn how harsh my message is, because at the end of the day, I'm right. I'm right. So moving on to the greatest segment on the planet, Dummy of the Week.
Dummy, yeah.
Al, do you have a Dummy of the Week?
The guy who installed my Wi-Fi. But
Facts.
Do I have a dummy of the week? You know what? I do have a dummy of the week.
What was it?
My dummy of the week is Mayor Adams.
Come on, you gonna leave the hip hop mayor alone. What do you do now?
What the nightlife mayor decided to give our governor Kathy Hogan a pass on saying that Black children in the Bronx don't know what the word computer is.
What?
Yes. So she was at some type of interview or something like that. She got caught up in her words, and she's trying to sit there and describe why the education system needs help over there. And she says, we have Black children in the Bronx who don't even know what a computer is, and they need help. And our nightlife mayor came out of nowhere and defended her and said sometimes he defended her.
Man. You gonna stop putting my man Eric Adams in a bad light. Don't do that. Don't do that,
Look,
yo. Don't do that.
Nah, man. I mean, that's Mr. Like Eric Adams been walking around talking about I rolled 5 joints out of a nickel bag to every single Drink Champs and Breakfast Club interview he goes to. He got the same rhetoric.
That's his claim to fame. Don't do that. Come on.
His claim to fame. Yo, Nori looked at him. He said, "Yo, I rolled 2 out of a nickel bag. You made 5. How'd you do that?"
That man is a talent. That's how he's trying to tell you that. Listen, he's a special breed. Like he made it stretch. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
You know what I mean? Like every single time they try to talk to him about the conditions in Rikers, he says, "Yeah, dyslexia. We gotta give him dyslexia tests." He said, "Yeah, but you know the guards they're beating people's asses." He's like, "Yeah, dyslexia tests." Come
on, leave it. All right, listen. Just because you said it out,
dummy. Yeah.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him.
Thank
all right?
you.
I didn't like doing it. But Eric Adams,
I think he earned it this week.
I don't listen. I'm always gonna back my man Eric Adams. Shout out to him, man. You know, hip hop mayor. But yeah, listen.
He's at the club right now.
Yeah, exactly. He probably. What you think he got? Vodka on deck.
Yeah, no, he had vodka on ice.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? So shouts to Eric Adams, man. Look, he tried to have the governor's back. I don't know what that white lady was talking about. She got to relax. She got to relax. You don't even know what's going on in Harlem and Bronx and Brooklyn. You don't know what the hell's going on. So just don't even talk. Don't even talk about it. My dummy of the week, and I don't need no drum rolls. I don't need none of that stuff. The winner for dummy of the week, those dudes in the airport that tried to beat up on Jim Jones, they get the dummy. Because let me tell you something. Like for whoever that was, I don't know who those dudes were. I don't even know what the situation was. But the fact that you would even choose violence against a dude that looked like Jim Jones. First off, did you see the punches that the guy was throwing at Jim Jones? Like that wouldn't even hurt a child. Wouldn't hurt a child. Yeah, it was bad.
But you know the first thought that came to my head when I saw that video. Jimmy ain't run like he ran at the Rucker.
Nah, he ain't run because he was like, listen, I'm gonna wash these old men up. I got the advantage here.
Last time we seen Jimmy on tape in the fight was the Rucker. Yeah, that man was fast.
That was years ago. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't do my man Jimmy like that. But yeah, he put the beats on these old dudes, and I felt bad for the guy that was on the stairs, that was on the elevator at the bottom that caught it. You see what happened? He got rolled up, and he was on the floor.
Oh yeah, the old man.
Yeah, it was bad. He was a casualty of war. But listen, if you gonna jump somebody, make sure that you coordinate your beat down. Like I didn't know what the hell they was doing. It was a headlock situation. Dude was bleeding. He's like, come on now. If you don't fight the right way.
Yo,
if you don't,
Jim Jones ran that dude head across the escalator.
Yeah, Ric Flair style.
Yeah, but I give Jim a lot of respect. He sat there. He defended himself. I mean, the guys. I think I could have beat those guys' asses, but Jim Jones defended himself. And when authorities came, he sat down. He didn't bug out on them. He wasn't even like, I don't even think Jim Jones cursed him out. Come to think about it, you know what I mean?
Nah.
Yeah, like I think he was real respectful, defended himself. He said, "Yo, this is what the situation is. This is what the."
Yeah, 100%, man. I completely agree. The thing is, listen, if you gonna jump a dude like Jim Jones, at least throw the luggage at him. Right, get the luggage, get some heavy shit. And throw at him. Make sure you try to knock him on do something. But the fact that you just gonna like do some pattern taps on the back of his back, I don't do that. To learn to fight. If you gonna throw hands the right way. That's what I'm saying. Every time I see somebody throw hands and they're not throwing hands the right way, I gotta ostracize you. I gotta say something. I gotta make fun of you because come on now. If you don't know how to be violent, don't be violent. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Call for help. Ask somebody for assistance, right? Don't go ahead and throw hands if you don't know what you're doing. That's what I'm saying. So the dudes that try to beat up Jim Jones, y'all get the
dummy,
and just don't get in a fight no more. Y'all old, and they probably didn't look. They look like they didn't even speak no English, and they caught them hands. They got worked. They got worked like a part-time job. So that's pretty much it for the show. Thank you, Al, for popping through. We did 2 hours, man. It's pretty good.
It felt like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's what happens when you have fun and you're breezing through these topics. I normally have a PSA. I don't necessarily think I have one today. Maybe I can be able to think. Oh, I do. Here's my PSA. For everybody that's chiming in on this who's better, Drake and Kendrick and all this battle rap shit that's going on. Here's a PSA for you. Instead of worrying about who's better and what's going on and who's not getting the shine and who's attacking who, how about we just enjoy what's going on and appreciate that there's no violence happening in regards to these battles, right? Like it's just everything is on the singles. People are dropping records, and it's not going anywhere beyond that because we've lost a lot of dudes over the years to gun violence, to gang violence, to hip hop, whatever it is. And the fact that we can be able to just debate on what's going on with the records that guys are putting out and all the stuff that they're talking about, the fact that we can be able to leave it there is good. So hopefully we're growing as a culture that we can be able to have these situations and these battles and these disagreements or whatever it is and just leave it there. It's kind of like when hockey players fight on the court, right? They fight and they go back to playing the game. That's the way it should be. You should be able to come at somebody's throat, neck, whatever it is, pause, and still be able to not have to go to violence. So I'm always an advocate for that. I always believe in that. But I also believe that there's times where people think that they're smarter than they should be. And this talks to Jay. What's his name? What's the dude's name? Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Let me tell you something right now. Jake Paul. The fact that you got Mike Tyson out here eating raw meat, not having sex, he ain't smoking no weed, and you wanted to make this a sanctioned professional fight, I feel bad for you because the man could be 60 years old. He's going to put hands on you, and he's going to – there's no headgear. There's no headgear here. Headshots is going to be legal. Don't do it. There's time to be able to pull out of this fight, and nobody will say anything about you. They're not going to disrespect you. They're not going to make fun of you. They're going to say that you made the best decision in your life. Don't do it. That's all. You got
to pull out from the fight like J. Cole.
Yeah, learn from J. Cole and say, look, I don't want that. I don't want that. I'm sorry. I want to be peace. Just learn. That's all I'm saying. So.
Number one, somebody got to check on Drake. Make sure he's all right, man.
Ain't nobody checking on Drake.
Somebody got to check on Drake. Make sure he's all right, because that boy Kendrick whooping his ass, man.
Whooping his ass from pillar to post, and I love it. I love
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Al, shouts to you, man. Listen, I am rooting for your Knicks in Game 4. I'm rooting for them to win the series, man. I told people from, I think, early in the season that I think the Knicks were heading to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just realized that they had a gritty team. There's just an aura around this team this year, and I truly believe that they have what it takes to be able to get there. And at that point, you leave it up to the ball rolling, right? Like anything can happen at that point, right? This, as good as the Celtics are, as good as the Cap, whatever, we're gonna see what happens when you get to that round, because you never know. But the fact that Julius Randle went down, that was a smoking gun for the Knicks to be able to take over, because Julius Randle has been an anchor around the Knicks weight for years. He's been worse than James Harden in the playoffs. Bum. And that's the reason why he's out is why they're so successful. I'm telling you right now, you got to get rid of him. Trade his ass away for some gym bags and a couple of basketballs, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Nah, he's one of ours. Keep him. Keep him. He's one of ours, right?
He's one of yours. It's like a stepchild. Get him out of here, right? He doesn't get the same love. That's what it is.
I'm just sitting down, biding my time. Like, I don't know if you remember when the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl, how calm I was, how I didn't really say too much during the season. Not going to put no bad juju on my team, but I may be insufferable. If you thought it was bad.
No, I mean, listen, if the Knicks get to the finals, you guys can cheer all you want. But here's the truth teller is going to speak to you as a friend. It's over at that point. You do know that, right? If you guys get there, I would be lucky if you win a basketball game in the NBA Finals. But as long as you get there, it's fine. It's just like when you guys went against the Spurs. Hey, it was a great run. LJ hitting the 4-point. Hey, it's great. It's great. But nobody remembers the ass kicking that y'all got against the San Antonio Spurs in the finals. Nobody remembers that. They only remember the Allen Houston shot against the Miami Heat. They remember LJ doing his thing. They don't remember the ass whooping that y'all got from Duncan and Robinson and Sean Elliott and them boys. That's what you ain't remember that. You remember that?
All even family. If y'all thought I made a crazy bet on the Eagles, just watch what happens when the Knicks make it to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I'm gonna let somebody else make that bet because you don't want me to do it. You don't want me.
No. I don't want to make an open-ended bet with you.
Okay,
that's what I don't want to do.
There needs to be stipulations. I hear it.
Stipulations and understandings, but I appreciate you having me on the show today. You know what I mean? I'll be hopefully we'll be back in studio soon. Get better, Nicole, and I'll be in there. Bring some life over there too. You know what I mean? Bring some of my Knicks gear, hang some shit up in the all even. I think right by the mic over there behind you, you need a little Knicks sticker. You know what I mean? Go New York, go.
No.
We're going to jazz up the studio.
I don't need anything Knicks unless it's Patrick Ewing. I don't need anything Knicks. Right, that's it. So shouts to you. Shouts to the Silent Assassin. Claw was not here as well. Everybody's kind of out. Jimmy the super intern. He was he's in some hole in the wall spot gambling. We don't know what the hell he is. So until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.